Alright, probably don't look great. Hope you enjoyed yesterday's Q&A with Herbs and Rye reading the questions. There will be at least one more Herbs and Rye appearance in future Q&A videos. Probably saw it in the title. The streak is over. Didn't go in today. Really thought a day of rest for my muscles would be good. Might even take one more. I was actually considering working the next 13 days, then taking one off. One of the 2 days I can take off my second to last week, you know, when I'm going to be off the schedule. Monday, Tuesday, and then working the last 12. Thought about that. We'll see. I don't know how many people were as into doing all 50 days as I was, but didn't want to let people down who wanted to see it. And the solace is, at least, it probably wasn't a ton of money, because that email never came in early in the afternoon where things were so busy they needed people. So if I went in, my only chance was to go in at 6, and the one other time I did that, it was only like 4.5 hours, so it wasn't going to be a ton of extra money. So as far as off days go, today was a fine one to miss. Not feeling great, but getting through the day. Did some editing, did go out, and it's 11:30. It's 11:30 now, p.m. by the way. So about to go to sleep. Realized I hadn't filmed, so today is the day 24 video, and I'm making a video every day. And actually, I don't have a ton more to say. So the streak is over. I did work 23 days in a row, and I'm thinking of just combining this with the day 25 video, because I am on the schedule tomorrow and I'm going into work. So stuff will actually happen, and I'll have more than like 2 minutes of things to say. So I don't think this will be much of a video on its own, and you'll probably know in the title, because if I combine days 24 and 25, right? Yeah, 24 and 25, it'll say so in the title of the video. So you'll see that. Me, as of filming time, have no clue if that's going to happen or not. I am going to get some rest and hopefully stop sneezing by the time I start dealing tomorrow. And I guess that's a wrap. Streak over. You know what? It does give me something to go for next summer. All 50 days next summer. Because I mean, how boring would that be? If I did all 50 days this summer, how would I beat that next summer? You know, it's like when I do the basketball trivia. I'm actually thrilled when I get a new score that's only slightly better than my last score on the Immaculate Grid. Because if I get too low of a score, that's what's happened in baseball. I got too low of a score. I don't know if it's ever possible to break it. In basketball, it's like fairly low, but I could definitely still beat it. And I'm actually always worried about getting a very, very, very good score, because then it would be like, what's the point if I can't beat it? If I break my personal best by like a little bit, then it's like, all right, I could still break that personal best and keep doing it for a while, maintaining a high level of interest. So I guess next year I will have a consecutive days record to beat. That is not impossible, but that's it for today. And I guess you'll see me tomorrow, day 25. What's on the schedule? Real quick, what's on the schedule tomorrow? I have it up here in my browser. Tomorrow is the 19th. No limit in the morning, so I will definitely start dealing that. Then PLO at 4. Not a ridiculously bad game. We do get paid more for it. And then 6 p.m., another no limit. So that's what's on tap for tomorrow. So see everyone tomorrow. Alright, day 25 is done. I'm back. It was a solid day of hours. I think I got slightly more than 8 hours on the clock. No limit hold'em. A PLO tournament did start at 4. I dealt the early tournament, the no limit, and then late registering players kind of died down. Even though registration still was open, we weren't getting a lot, but it's no limit. There are a lot of all-ins. Tables were breaking. My table broke. And then there was a need in the cash game area, so I dealt cash. And then right around being on the clock for 8 hours, they sent me home. Shout out to Hoytack, who is a fellow dealer. His roommate told him about the channel. Oh, and he knew I took a day off yesterday, because he was there, didn't see me. And yeah, I think a lot of people, when I mentioned how many hours I wanted, like way before I even started, I think they said I would get like bored, or I would get like burnt out. It seemed like a mental reason was like the common reason, why I wouldn't deal like around the clock if I was able to, or I wouldn't deal every single day. He said, because he's also dealing, like, you're just every single day, like dealing and dealing, like your arm's gonna get tired. 50 days in a row would be tough. And yeah, it was a physical thing, not a mental thing. Also, I don't think I mentioned this. I think I mentioned my shoulder a couple times. You deal every day. I mean, certain muscles are gonna be a little sore. In high school, at practice, something happened. My shoulder definitely did not dislocate, but there were like, something happened, and for like a couple seconds, it felt like my arm wasn't connected to my body, and then it felt mostly fine. It was like sore for a few days, and then like pretty much fine. I don't know exactly what happened. I used Icy Hot, which is pretty much useless, which by the way, never feels icy, at least any time I ever used it in my life. And yeah, it like pretty much felt fine after that, but then just like so many years of weightlifting and golf, feel like that made whatever happened in high school like worse. And even though I was losing interest in like beating personal bests in the weight room, and I was just losing interest in golf, I was probably about done with both soon anyway. Golf actually got to the point where every time I swung, my shoulder hurt, and I just like had to stop. So yeah, without golfing and weightlifting, it's no big deal. But now that I'm dealing lefty all the time, it's getting more sore than if I dealt righty all these days. So that's why I'm trying to deal righty. Did deal righty for the No Limit tournament, all the downs except one, because that last down in the temp area, the felts are just so like thick and rough. The cards don't really slide, so it was tough to deal righty. But I think I dealt for like 3 hours righty, and then all cash games I dealt lefty because speed is so much of a bigger factor in cash games. So yeah, hopefully doing, so today 12 more days, 1 day off, and then the final 12 days my shoulder will be fine, and then by either a winter series or the next summer series I'll practice in the interim, and I'll be able to like just alternate, deal with each arm, so my left shoulder doesn't have so much stress on it. Shout outs. Shout out to the guy who said nothing until I got up and he said thanks Nomad when I dealt a tournament table. Shout out to the guy who said something as soon as I sat. I'm not getting names because we're not using Bravo. There was someone who showed the guy on his, the guy from Minnesota. Okay, I remember that guy. He showed the guy to his left a picture of me with a long beard, and then the guy on his left disappeared. But we did like a wellness check on him, and we found out he was okay. He said it was way too cold, and he had to like leave the building, but he was gone for like 30, 45 minutes. But then a different guy, not getting names, I have like no like distinguishing characteristics. There was a guy on table 34 when I was dealing the tournament. A player from 35 walked by table 34 and knocked a drink off like the shelf of the wall that is the border of the poker room. The guy who knocked the drink over like had no interest in picking up the cup. He just kept going. The guy at our table made a joke like, oh, maybe he just knocks over so many things that like if he stopped to pick them all up his entire life, he would never actually get anywhere. That was solidly funny. It was so much funnier because then I went to table 35 and I dealt to that guy for a half hour, and every single time I threw him a card, I had to try to hold back from laughing, imagining that guy walking just his entire life, constantly knocking things off shelves and not caring and picking them up. Then, when they had me deal cash, the first table I dealt, I opened a 2-5 table, and that guy was one of the players on the 2-5 table. So again, every single time I threw him a card, I had to try to hold back from laughing. More? I don't, if there are more shout outs, I'm missing them. So yeah, day 25, halfway, 50 days is the total. Tomorrow, what's going on tomorrow? Day 26. Ooh, Omaha 8 Stud 8 is the 11 a.m. tournament. You know what? No Limit is very straightforward. But yeah, a long day of dealing a non-hold'em makes some solid money. I'm actually going to tell everyone at the end of the summer, like, the most hold'em downs I ever dealt in a day, the most mixed game downs, the most cash downs, the most money, the most hours, the leasts of all those things. I think so far the most money I made is because just a huge chunk of the day was dealing a non-hold'em tournament. Those $20 downs just rack up. So tomorrow is going to be a big chunk of dealing a Omaha 8 stud 8. Not thrilled with the Omaha 8, but I have been dealing, like today, cash. Getting better at reading the low hands. Stud 8, I'm fine. I thought about taking a day off, you know, maybe one day off each of the final 3 weeks. Definitely not next Monday and Tuesday, because next Monday starts that stretch where it's like just main event stuff, and it's just no limit hold'em tournaments, which is so straightforward. I'm not going to take a day off. That's just like so simple and straightforward and just dealing no limit hold'em tournaments. So probably one more day off, probably like 2 Tuesdays from now. I will take one day off and that'll be it. And it's looking like I'm going to get 48 of the 50 days on the clock. And I'll see everyone tomorrow. And remember, rice is a spoon food.